All right, so it's episode 13, and it's amazing that you're on with us right now, Alex Tuch. I didn't know that you guys had never met before. This is the first time you guys had met. I thought in your time and coming to Buffalo a few times, you would have crossed paths with Old Man River.
Nope,
No,
never.
you know what? Listen, I mean, Petey, you had younger brother, Luke Tuch, that lived with you for a full year and played a year for the Junior Sabres. And I got a chance to talk to Luke and watch Luke dominate. I mean, here when he played his time with the Sabres. But no, Alex and I we've never met. But I have been a fan, and I'm going to tell you this. My trade for you, Alex, happened, I think it was 4 years ago. So I'm ahead of the time. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Alex,
Identified
I swear,
right away. I'm GM of the year for sure.
I swear to you when I say this. Back when we were doing the other show that you recently did, thank you for doing both our shows in 1 week, by the way. But Craig said years ago on live air, the Sabres need to trade for Alex Tuch. This is back like in your first year in Vegas. So here you are.
Thank you.
And I even think off the air, Riv, or even on the air, he might have said, I would trade Jack Eichel for Alex Tuch straight up. That might have been said before.
Gee, that's steep.
Yeah, listen.
Just speaks to the love. That's all.
You know what? I watched you when you first came into the league, and we all know this is a tough league to play in, and it usually takes younger players, first year players, second year guys to take a couple of years to get acclimated and learn the buildings, learn the players that you play against, and just feel comfortable. And then they seem to kind of start to take off. And just watching you in Vegas, you know, you have great size, you have incredible speed, you've got, you know, world-class, you know, a skill set, you know, and you also play a game that I love. Like, I mean, you're not just going to swoop in the offensive zone and not make a body check. Like, you play the game the right way. And I think you take pride in that, you know, good Western New York boy. And, you know, it was wishful thinking back in that day. You know, it was wishful thinking to think that we would ever get you just because you're that Western New York tie. But you know what? For Kevin Adams to make this move, you know, I think, you know, obviously, Petey, we have a whiteboard. We had a whiteboard at our last job, and we were putting guys on the board, and your name was always there for a long, long time. So, but we started to give up on you. That's when your game started to take off even more. And we're watching you in the playoffs, and I'm like, this guy's screwing things up. He's screwing things up for us because we're never going to get him now. But anyway, it's great to have you here in Buffalo, and, you know, congratulations on the trade.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
How you feeling?
Thanks for all the compliments.
I know. And you know what? Here's the thing, Alex. Like, I'm not even going to pump your tires because, I mean, he could go another 15 minutes. I mean, Craig could be a pro scout, but you know, your game's going to be perfect for Buffalo fans. They're going to love when you get back on the ice and they get to see you play. But that's enough of us, you know, tooting your horn here. How you doing? First of all, like, how's the acclimation process going of getting, you know, accustomed to Buffalo again, Western New York?
Good. Yeah. It's a little bit of a change in weather, that's for sure, going from the desert to here. But it was, I was reminiscing a little bit. It was nice to come back and have the seasons again and have all 4 seasons and be able to see, I think the next morning after my girlfriend, dog, and I got into town, it was snowing. So that was good to see my puppy there. He got his first day of snow, so he was really excited. He loved it. And it's been a crazy couple weeks, honestly. It was from the trade to I actually ended up flying out here to look for some places for a couple days, like meet the players, meet the coaching staff, everyone in the front office, and then I flew back, packed up my entire house, and shipped everything out here. And we flew back here, and right now we're in a spot. I think we're moving again on Monday to a more permanent spot, and it's been good. Everyone's been very welcoming, and it's been a lot of fun.
Take us back to the day of the trade. Like, I mean, even the days leading up, there was a lot of talk about Vegas. Vegas was always kind of being discussed. When did you hear your name involved in the deal?
There was,
And had you heard rumblings about Jack to Vegas, like throughout this process? Because players always hear, stuff like that.
yeah. I mean, it was like a week prior. I think I saw like on Twitter, and if I'm a young hockey player, I probably wouldn't have Twitter anymore because everything's on Twitter. But I was getting tagged in different tweets and stuff like this about, and then I saw it was like more serious, like things are heating up with Vegas and Eichel. And deep down, I had a feeling that if Eichel's going to Vegas, and we had this conversation, Petey, I know we talk occasionally, and because of your relationship with my brother and my family and stuff. So we had talked on the phone, and you were like, if Eichel's going to Vegas, you're coming to Buffalo. And we kind of laughed at it, but it was, I think deep in our minds, like we had a feeling that was going to probably happen. So it was just a couple people. It wasn't anything crazy like, oh yeah, Tuch's definitely going back. And then, but I don't know, there was other inklings of other guys, and everyone wanted to throw out their version of the trade and stuff like that to be the first one. But we all know who the first one was, because I think he might've been smiling that entire week, was the one and only Andrew Peters.
Listen. And
I didn't break it to him. That was not me.
That's the truth. Did not come from the Tuchs.
It was not from myself or my family. So
did not come from the Tuchs.
I kept it quiet, but I woke up, I think the next morning, I mean, obviously it was a very light night of sleep, and I woke up at like 6:30, and you'd broken the news, and I'd gotten probably like 50 text messages. So it was, it was a lot.
Listen, so
Andrew's head is so big right now. It's just like, give it a rest. Something fell on your lap. Like,
hey, man, he brought it up.
I'm going to tell you right now, you're really not that good.
This isn't about me.
Well, it is actually about you. We're talking about you right now.
No, well, listen, you referenced our conversation, and this is the thing that I loved that you said, and it's amazing because I didn't tell anybody that we had spoken. I didn't say that you and I had a chat or anything leading up to the days of the deal and stuff. I told Craig one thing. I told Craig like what you said to me after you just said. I said, well, you know that if Jack's going there, they're going to want you here. Like, you're exactly what Kevin Adams is going to want. And then you said, and then I asked you how you felt. And you said, you know what? I love it here. And you said, but if that were to happen, I can't believe that I'll be a Buffalo Sabre. And it's amazing because it almost seems like that's what people think that you're supposed to say. But you actually feel that way because of the pictures and the growing up here. And I don't want to go too far down that path, but it's like, it's a very interesting situation. You're going from a dream place to play to a dream place to play, but not for a lot of guys in the league, Alex. Let's be honest. A lot of guys in the league are not keen on coming to Buffalo, but you are.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I know guys talk about, like, if guys have modified no trade clauses and stuff, and I've talked with other guys before, and they'll rattle them off. And honestly, it changes per guy and stuff. Some guys have Buffalo, some guys that don't, and they're like, and then they say Buffalo, and they're like Buffalo. I'm like, well, that wouldn't be on my list. And I have a 5-team one that kicks in 3 or 4 years or something like that. The last couple of years, my deal, and Buffalo wouldn't have been on it. It wouldn't even be close. Even if I had a 15-team no trade clause, it probably wouldn't be on it, honestly. And that's how I truly feel. And because it is pretty much coming home for me. I already saw my family this week, and it was nice to see them. So that's how I genuinely feel. And a lot of people, when I was doing the interview, the first interviews and stuff like that, and talking about it, and I don't think a lot of people really were like, because, I mean, the last couple of years haven't been the best for the Sabres. And I want to come in here and I want to help in any way possible to try to turn that around. And so people were like, oh, no, you're not actually serious about what you're saying. And I was like, no, I am serious. Like, this is my team growing up. Like, I lived next to Tim Conley. I named all you guys on that 05-06 team, like all the conference final team and everything like that. I mean, that's something that I was really I watched every game in the playoffs. That's for sure. My dad and I did it from the time I was 5 years old until I got drafted by Minnesota, honestly. The Buffalo Sabres were my favorite team.
River, I'm waiting for you to chime in. But
I don't know. It's kind of like I got little goosebumps on the arm right now. It's just so nice it's so nice to hear that. And listen, I mean, Buffalo right now in the last number of years, they've struggled to find that identity and to move the needle forward. But I'm going to tell you this. I am a believer in Kevin Adams. I think he is a very smart hockey man. I played against this guy throughout my time in my career. I know what he is all about. I know him personally off the ice. He is an incredible man. He is a guy that has played on a Stanley Cup winning team. He knows what the ingredients are to winning. And, I believe in his message and his focus and what he's doing right now with this new team that he's acquired. And listen, I mean, they're going in the right direction. I think that the team right now that is on the ice, you can see that they don't quite necessarily have the Alex Tuchs out there and the guys that they will have in the futures, the Owen Power first overall pick. They are going to have these guys very soon. And there's guys that are in the minors that are in exceptional hockey players, very highly drafted players. This team will turn around quickly because the attitudes of the guys in the dressing room, the guys truly want to be here. The guys that are playing for Don Granado right now, you can tell want to be Buffalo Sabres. And to have you say this, and you will be a leader on this team. There is no question about it. Whether you like it or not, you're going to walk in there. You have an infectious personality, from what Andrew tells me anyway. But, you are going to be one of the guys that is going to help galvanize this group. And it's just so great to hear you talk about you actually wanting to be here. And this is your team moving forward. It's a great thing to hear.
You played for Donnie already, right?
Yeah, he was. I only played for him for one World Junior tournament, but he was at the U.S. program coaching the opposite birth year, I guess you can say, when I was there. So he coached the 95s and 97s, and I was in 96.
So what's your first conversation with him sound like?
Well, it was a phone conversation. I think it was the night that I got traded because they were in Seattle, so it was still early enough in Seattle that I was able to talk to him on the phone, and he was really excited. He was just saying that he was pushing that if we were going to make this trade, that he really wanted me to be involved, and he was pushing for me ever since he became head coach. So that really meant a lot. And we already do have a somewhat relationship, so it's not like someone I have to meet. I know I've had a conversation with him in the past. So
does he tell you like what his plans are for you, like what he sees you as? Like, I mean, obviously as players, we all see ourselves as, like, I was a first liner in my head, but I don't know what, he probably sees you more as you're like, I mean, come on, you've been on the ice together. So no, but seriously, like, does he tell you like what the plan is for you, who he sees you with? Because, like, does he say Dylan Cousins? Does he say Krebs down the road? Does he say any of these things? No,
he just says how excited he is to have me on the team and wants me to be a big part of the team going forward. And there's no, I mean, line combinations switch all the time. You don't know who's going to be healthy, who's going to be injured. And obviously I'm out for a little bit longer, but no, we haven't talked about that yet. He's just talking about coming in and just being a part of the team right away. And I don't plan to talk to him on who I'm going to play with. He just, whatever he writes on the board.
You don't storm in, kick the door open and say, this is who we're playing with. This is who I'm playing with. I want that guy and that guy.
Never.
You just said something interesting, though, and because we always talk about line combinations, and even fans say, I wish the coaches league-wide, not Buffalo, everywhere. I wish coaches would just leave the line combinations together, like as if it was the 70s where you had names for lines that played together for years. Do players nowadays, is it easier for them to adjust to constant line changes and different combinations, or was that never even really a thing?
I really think it depends on the player, and it depends on the line combination. Some guys play really well together and have that kind of niche, and like it's hard for the coach to stray away from playing guys together. I mean, we had the original misfit line, I guess you can call it, with Carlson, Marchessault, and Smith, and they've been playing together since year one, like a couple weeks in the year one. So they never really got broken up, but they produced consistently, and that was a line that just off the top of my head. And so it happens sometimes, but not as often as it probably did back in the day, because there are injuries, there are trades, there's sometimes some coaches like switch up the lines every third game just to switch up the lines every third game and stuff. And I think
it's pretty simple. The teams that are winning don't really change lines. The teams that are losing, we've seen really a rolling of the dice.
Alex is the only one here to play in a cup final, so he might be able to tell us.
That's true.
I don't know, because
imagine he's like, oh, we change lines all the time that year in Vegas.
Well, so I played mostly with Cody Eakin that year, and then in the playoffs, in the second and third rounds, I played with, was it the part of the first round, part of the third, and part of the finals, I was with Eric Hall and James Neal. So we were switching. So I was on that, like, line 2, line 3, back and forth. David Perron was in there. He got hurt for a little bit. It does switch sometimes. And like you said, there's injuries and stuff like that. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, Tampa, they have 6 guys that all play with each other, maybe 8 guys that play with each other, honestly. And that's one of the last 2 cups. So, I mean,
yeah,
you never really know. Like I said, it depends on the team, depends on the coach, and depends on the players. Some coaches like leaving it. Sometimes you have to break it up. So, I don't know.
Petey, I think we have to talk about Vegas.
Closing the book on Vegas.
We got to close the book on Vegas. We got to move on from Vegas. But before we do, for me, I played a long time in the league, and Vegas was not in the league when I played, and it's obviously Vegas is Vegas. It's the old saying is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But I think Las Vegas, there's so much more to that city than just gambling in the bars and stuff. But how was the city? How was the restaurants? Did you frequently go down to the Strip? Where the concerts, everything, the golf apparently is crazy. Tell us about Vegas and your time there.
I love Vegas. It was a lot of fun. We pretty much the whole team lives 15, 20 minutes off the Strip, I'd say. So it's in the Summerlin area. It's 5 minutes from the practice rink. There's a ton of good restaurants of everything that you can imagine, not only on the Strip, but off the Strip too. It was obviously a lot quieter off the Strip, so it was nice. You can go and visit and stuff like that. And the first year it's Vegas, and so first year you go down to the Strip a little bit more, and everyone wants to come visit. So you're going to dinner, you're going to get drinks and stuff like that. And then as the years go on, we didn't really go down the Strip as much, and we kind of stuck around Summerlin area a lot more. And then COVID hit, so no one was going anywhere. But it's great. I mean, you can get away from the Strip really easily. It's right down the street if you wanted to go there and go for dinner or have people in town. Everyone stayed in the Strip if you have people in town for the most part. And then you have the golf. They have some of the, I think, best golf courses in the world. Shadow Creek, I've played a handful of times. It's beautiful. They had that whole event there. And then a bunch of us were members at Southern Highlands, which is an unbelievable golf course. There's also Summit that they just had the CJ Cup at, that a couple of guys are members at. It's phenomenal.
Any guys live on the Strip? You don't have to name them, but do any guys live down on the Strip? I think I lived on the Strip.
Can you even do that? Can you even live on the Strip?
Yes,
you can live right off the Strip. I mean, you could, if you really wanted to, you could probably live in the penthouse suite at the Cosmopolitan. It would probably cost you a few $1 million a year in rent alone, but you could probably do it. But there's a couple apartment complexes that are right next to the Strip. That's a 2-minute Uber ride onto the Strip, right over the highway. Those are I don't know I'm guessing if you're in the nightlife or something like that, or I don't know. probably some big gamblers that live there or something like that. But those are seem like some nice apartments.
So
and stuff.
who on the team had? Tell us about some nice cars. Like, what were the boys driving? You have to have a few convertibles there. What were the boys driving?
Yeah.
What did you have?
I remember March's though.
No, don't deflect. I heard you had a pretty sick car down there.
It was okay. I had an Aston Martin Vantage the last couple of years. It was fun. It was a fun car for sure. It definitely wasn't the most expensive. I mean, there is some expensive cars. There's a guy that has a Rolls Royce. There's a couple guys have gone though. There's been a couple Ferraris, a couple Lamborghinis, a few G-Wagons. I think recently a couple Lamborghini Uruses have been purchased. Those are very nice. It was, you were able to ride.
Didn't you guys have a team Lamborghini or something?
I think that the first playoff game, some guy wrapped a Lamborghini in gold. And I think Marshy drove it to the rink for the first game. And they made it all Vegas on the side. And stuff
that's what I was talking about. Yes.
Yeah. Marshy's Lambo, they call it. Yeah. Something like
so
that.
would you guys know if a team rolled in and went out the night before a game? Would you guys hear about teams that just came in and just couldn't resist?
How many laser breaths were on the ice the next day, just breathing fire?
Any guys ever lean over to you and say, "Oh my God, our entire team is shit faced right now. We were at this place until 6 a.m."
No, I mean, you'd hear, because we were the misfits. We were on every team, so every team that came in, for the most part, we had a guy that played. So it was oh yeah, I know this. They had rookie party, or no, they just flew in last night and no one went out. And I mean, it's Vegas, so especially the first year.
Yeah, but did you ever hear where
tell me if this happened, that you sacrificed that one guy that's on your team and you said to that guy, "You're going to take these guys out and you're going to punish them. You're going to take them out."
No.
Rock star status.
The city of Vegas was we want our Knights to win. So we're going to try to bring these guys out. So if they had rookie party, they were sending over free shots and all this stuff. The city got behind it. We're all right, we're going to,
that would not bode well for me.
We're going to give them a couple free, a free bottle of booze or something like that to get them really going. So then they have a really late night and stuff. But I mean, most teams that would do it would take a couple days. So you have a rest day in between. But I mean, it's an attractive city when you want to blow off some steam and stuff like that. And then guys could gamble late at night too if they weren't drinking still. And I mean, it's a fun city, but it was a lot. I think a lot of guys at first who took advantage of it, especially in the first half of the year. The Vegas flu is definitely probably a thing, but I think over time it's calmed down and stuff. And a lot of teams still have their rookie party in Vegas for the most part, but I don't. It wasn't the first year. But there was.
That used to happen in Montreal. Montreal was the place to have your rookie party. Number one, you're paying the Canadian dollars, right? Yeah. And number two, Montreal nightlife is legendary. And we saw a lot of red eyes the next day. And I used to love and laugh at these guys because you could tell that they were green. They were playing guilty. And that happened a lot.
Yeah, but sometimes that's better. I mean, I've seen some guys play pretty well playing guilty, but
the best guilty player ever.
Craig and I were out till 3 a.m. one night in Florida. 4 in the morning.
Well, we outweighted Lindy Ruff. No, listen, we took care of the team that night. The boys went out.
Craig was captain.
We had a great time, and you have to be responsible, okay? So I sent home every single guy. I made sure that every single guy was home and back at the hotel for a curfew, which I think was 11. And I think Petey and I picked up the tab.
Which means Craig picked up the tab.
I pick up the tab.
And 7 times more than I was that year. Alex, what do you
so we
I'm going to slide the bill over. I might have looked better, but I'm sliding it over to the rich guy.
Petey, remember the band that was there?
Oh yeah,
They were from Buffalo.
it's
were
Tom
they not?
Sartori.
Unbelievable live band.
How do you know that?
The guy was from Buffalo. He was in the World
that's-
Series of Poker. He finished like 7th one time and won like 400
That's
grand.
awesome.
Yeah, so he was there that night playing randomly. We didn't know it was the Blue Martini. You've probably been there. It's the Blue Martini in Florida. It was owned at the time by a Buffalo guy. So River and I go on.
So we ended up staying a little bit longer, meaning like 4 hours longer. And we knew that we had caught wind, and they were telling us that Lindy Ruff was sitting in the lobby in a corner waiting for guys to walk in after curfew. Little did he know that he's dealing with two legendary veterans that had a eye out for Lindy Ruff, and Lindy Ruff apparently sat in the lobby until like 2:00 in the morning, and then we got the phone call and said that he had gone up to his room, and we came home.
So we outwaited the coach. So anyway, the next night, Craig ends up playing 20. How many minutes?
I don't know, 25, 26.
25 minutes.
It was probably about 20 minutes too much for me that night, but I'm going to tell you right now. Remember what you just said, Alex? Said sometimes playing guilty is the way to go. Well, let me tell you, I played unbelievable.
He was unbelievable. He was unbelievable.
How
He
many
comes
minutes
off
did
the
you play
ice.
that night?
I said, I was standing there waiting for the team to come off, and I was fist bumping everybody. And as soon as I saw him, I said, "How did you play? How did you play tonight?" And he looked, he goes, "Oh my God, I feel awful." And he just kept walking into his stall and collapsed. Anyway, that's not the point. Hey, listen, we don't have a ton more time with you. Let's talk about your physical situation. When are we going to see you back on the ice? How's the rehab going? How's the shoulder?
It's going well. It's progressing well. I mean, this is it's pretty cut and dry rehab. Obviously, I'm a type of guy that likes to get back out as soon as possible, but it's feeling really good. Like I said, progressing nicely. I'm not really allowed to talk about it. I let management and coaching staff talk about that, but it's going really well. I'm like I said, progressing nicely and excited to get back out. It's been really tough to come in and not be able to I guess battle every night with the guys. That's really what I was looking forward to coming to a new team is I mean, you can be like they've welcomed me with open arms, but not to be able to go in and battle with them every single night. And it's tough. It really is.
When did you have the surgery?
I had it mid-July.
Okay. So we're, and it's usually what, a 6-8 month recovery for that type of surgery?
Usually around 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I had both my
months,
shoulders done,
no,
and the best advice I could give you is you don't want to rush yourself back. You want to make sure that it's strong and it's good working order, because that'll pay off dividends for the long run. But
Did you and your brother grow up riding horses?
No, we did not. I think I rode one when I was like.
Why are you guys how are you so bow-legged?
Oh.
Who's more bow-legged? Do you guys have a competition? Do you guys have a competition and like try to open your legs and have like roll BOSU balls or something in between to see who can get them through? Seriously.
That's a Tuch thing. My dad's bow-legged too.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I don't think I realized that. I didn't realize Carl was bow-legged.
Yeah, we're all very bow-legged, but no, that's something that not a lot of people know. We are a very bow-legged family, but yeah. I always told my dad that if I wasn't bow-legged, I'd probably be like 6'6". I feel like I lost a couple inches.
It's true, man. Which one's your leg? Do you and your brother have the same bow leg? Because it's just the one, isn't it?
Mine are both.
Are they both? Because I think your brother just shoots out so far to the side.
One more than the other, but he's both as well. So that's just how it works. Yeah, but his was like one side was like more than the other. It's kind of weird.
Are you catching any grief for wanting to wear 89?
A little bit. Not much. A couple of people have tweeted at me and stuff like that. But, I mean, obviously, he had an unbelievable career here. He played 4 or 5 seasons here with Buffalo, and he was a captain at one point. And so it's tough. It really is. But it wasn't a retired number. so it wasn't completely off the table. I made sure I asked. I wasn't like, I want 89. I was like, is it okay if I still wear 89? And Kevin Adams gave me the go ahead, and so I decided
just wait until you don't score a hat trick in your first game and see the tweets after that.
Well, geez, it's like, how about a little courtesy, Alex? The guy only got thrown in the trunk of a car 6 times in one day to get smuggled over here, and you're just going,
just take the number, not a big
everything
deal.
he did to wear 89 on this team.
Are you buying this guy a Rolex?
Yeah, what are you doing for him?
Oh, I don't even know. I think he's over in Russia now.
Yeah, you know what you should
go to.
Hey, you should send him an autographed jersey and say, just right, suck it, Alex Tuch.
That is the last thing on the planet I would do. 100%. I hope I get to meet him one day.
Might not go over well. Don't do that.
I hope he's not mad. I hope he's okay with it.
Why would he be mad? Seriously, I think the number thing is just so. Other than 99, any number's available.
No,
look at.
But hold on.
Pat Kane was allowed to wear 88. Yeah, he was born that year. But hold on a second. The Big E is and always will be the only 88 in Kane's greatest American player ever right now. But as far as I'm concerned, when 88 was Lindros, nobody, because you cannot fill 88 the way Big E did. Simple as that. So there's my theory on numbers. Wear 89 all you want.
Favorite player ever to play the game. That's just me. He's only 1 year older than me, but he was something special when I got to watch. Well, I was on the bench when he was playing a lot of the time, which was great because everybody else was getting cranked. But what a player. Do you think that 89 will ever be in the rafters?
I'm not sure. I feel like if they were going to do it, they would have done it by now. That's why I hesitated, and I was like thinking, I feel like they would have retired it by now. So that's why I was, and if they decide to do it down the road, I'll reluctantly, but I will willingly, I guess you can say, give it up at that point.
Have you ever met Rip Simonik yet?
No.
Ask him about if you see him down there. I think he's still around the team, isn't he?
No, I don't know. I don't think I've met Rip. No, I haven't met Rip.
When you meet Ripper, he'll tell you, Alex McGillney, from what I understand, I guess he loved his sour cream. Like when he came here, he ate so much sour cream, put it on everything.
I think that's a Russian thing.
Yeah.
Because I played with Kovalenko, the Russian tank. Remember him?
Well, I do. I don't think Alex will.
Oh my God, you gotta know the Russian tank. He's legendary. This guy would grab a great big steak for a pregame meal, and he would put sour cream that's probably about an inch and a half thick over the entire thing.
That's right. That's what Alex McGillney was doing. That's what I heard.
Yep.
What was it like growing up next to Tim Connolly? What was he like?
He was quieter. So Tim was 12 years older than me, so he was pretty much out of the house. By the time when I started playing hockey, I think he had left for the OHL.
Okay.
In that same year or year after and stuff like that. Whenever he was back in town, I would see him when I was younger and stuff. But then he started playing the NHL, and he was quiet, kept to himself. But
he used to pull up in front of his parents' house in front of the blue Porsche.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
Did he have the blue Porsche?
I think he did. Yeah. Yeah. So he would show up occasionally. I think later on it was a black
Aston Martin DBS.
Maybe.
Yeah, that was. You remember that one, River?
Yes.
Oh my! He's like, I got the one from James Bond, and it was the DBS from James Bond.
I think Derek Roy followed that up with a Ferrari.
I think so.
But then he had to take it back because his money guy said no, he can't have it.
That's smart.
That's kind of what happened.
That's smart.
Good play.
That's awesome.
But I mean, like, if Tim Connolly were in the league today, I think he'd be one of the best players in the league by far.
100%.
I have never seen hands on a player like Tim Connolly ever in my entire life. And I mean, I only played 6 years in the league, but I don't know who. I know you, Riv, you play with Kovalev, but Tim Connolly, to me, by far, stick handling, everything.
He's not a player ever in the game. As far as I'm concerned, there's not a player ever to play the game that has better hands than Alex Kovalev. And I would have this debate or argument with any single person anywhere. Alex Kovalev is on a completely different stratosphere.
Have you ever seen his videos, Alex, on YouTube?
Kovalev?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Insane.
Unreal. Who was your favorite?
Who told me that he used to go out at the end of practice? He wouldn't practice, and then at the end of practice, he would play keep away with the entire team.
Well,
is that Kovalev?
Yes. So there was a couple things that he did. So at the end of every single practice, you know how the team gets together and at the center ice, they all do the stretch in a circle.
Yep.
Well, he would sit there on one knee and grab 3 pucks, and he would feather a pass to try it, land it on the net, on the top of the net at the other end of the ice. And I'm not kidding you when I say this. I watched this for a number of years. He's landing one of those 3 pucks. It's unfathomable what he does.
What he can do.
And to go beyond that, after that stretch, some guys would go off the ice, go get treatment. Some guys did maybe some shooting at one end, but he would always grab a couple guys. So Saku Koivu, who is another wizard with the puck and puck protection, this and that, they love to play together. And they would always ask a guy like me. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, man, like, this is awesome how these guys keep asking me to play, this little keep-away game. And I really realized after, that I never touched a puck, like ever. I would have the puck on my stick for literally 5 out of a 15-minute keep-away drill. And I just quit after that because that wasn't fun for me. It's like that kid that just got asked to play and never got the ball.
When Kovalev was actually morning skating, and like day of a game, guys would go out and want to watch just him. That's how skilled he was. Alex, who was your favorite player growing up?
Tim Conley.
So it was okay. Yeah. So it was. All right.
Tim, yeah.
No shit. All right. Well, good for him. Good for him. Have you seen him at all lately? Talked to him at all? Do you hear from him at all?
No, I haven't. I haven't recently. I think he was living in Rochester, and honestly, the past few years have been crazy for everyone. But our parents still live right next door to each other, so our dads talk occasionally.
All right. So so tell us this. Wrap it up with this. Give us a rough timetable of when Sabre fans can see you on the ice, and are you planning it to be at home? Are you going to do a grand home welcome introduction?
I don't know. On next few months for sure. Obviously, I can't specify. I'm sorry, but hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, no, it's I don't know, home or away. I just want to play a game. That's all I want to do. So whatever the team, whatever coach wants to put me in, whenever I get cleared by the docs and ready to go, I'm sure they'll toss me in. And that'd be cool if it was a home game. That's for sure. I'm
sure mom and dad will be there though.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll let you know this time, PD, so you can break that news too, just for you, buddy.
That would be. Oh, see that, Riv, doing us favors already. I appreciate it. Hey, enjoy your time here, man.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thanks for the time, guys.
The feedback from people, not that I know you say you don't want to check social media, but the feedback from people about Alex Tuch in Buffalo has been unbelievably
incredible. Incredible.
So enjoy that, and we look forward to seeing you on the ice. And I can't thank you enough for doing this, Alex. Seriously, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, congratulations, Alex.
Thank you.
I love that guy, and the reason is just the family background. And I didn't want to, that's the thing. I didn't want to make it about that because that his brother lived with me. But there's one thing I think you got to understand. Okay, so the Tuch family, their mother and father, the boys, and they have a sister, twin. Luke has a twin sister. They just always raised their kids to, well, number one, they were great in school, but they raised their kids to be well-mannered and hardworking. Well-mannered and hardworking. And that's, I don't know Alex like I know Luke and his parents, but I think you can get a pretty good idea of what someone is all about by their family.
I cannot be happier. I cannot be happier for the Buffalo Sabres, because they picked up an incredible hockey player. They picked up an incredible human being for a very young hockey team. And I'm going to tell you, to have Alex Tuch around the environment, he is an ultimate team first player. And he is going to make this team better. I mean, the fans of Buffalo are going to be very, very pleased with Alex. You know, he is one piece to a puzzle that's being built. And just talking to him even behind the scenes after we turned off the camera, what a respectful young man. And he is really hungry. He is really, really hungry to put on that uniform. And that, to me, makes, you know, this whole thing that much more enjoyable, because we know what we gave up. We gave up a very, very good hockey player. But there's a new beginning here that's happening in Buffalo. You can feel it and you can see it. And Alex Tuch is going to be a very big part of that.
You know, one of the things we didn't really get into with him was, you know, captaincy and all this stuff. And I do think, I know this can come across as a biased opinion, but it's not when you talk to him and you see the work and you see the player on the ice. And to me, I think he could be the next captain of the Buffalo Sabres. They're not going to name one this year. Okay. Dylan Cousins doesn't need to be the captain next year and 2 years from now. And he's been to a final. He's still young, but the way he prepares and works and competes, I think that's part of the reason why Kevin Adams brought him in here, is so that he can ensure himself a captain for the next few years. Too soon for that?
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I think that this team right now is so young, and I'm going to tell you, thank the Lord for players right now that are in this lineup, like Gergensen and Kyle Oposo.
Say that again.
Gergensen, yeah, I said it. He's an older statesman. He's been around. Kyle
I'm
Oposo,
happy to hear you say that.
Kyle Oposo probably is the captain of this team, but he's not wearing that letter, but he just understands. He's happy to be wearing a Buffalo uniform. He is happy to be a part of helping kids, young kids. I'm talking kids. We got so many young guys in this lineup that it's crazy when you think about it. And they're learning and they're sponges. And to have guys like Kyle Oposo in this lineup and have to take on so much more than just going out and playing the game every night. He is trying to manage a very young hockey team. He's doing a lot of things, I'm sure, behind closed doors that no one knows about and no one sees. And all I'm saying right now is to sit here and have Alex Tuch come in and slap a C on his sweater. You're just adding a tremendous amount of pressure and a tremendous amount of responsibility. And I just think right now they will know, this coach, this GM will know who is the leader and who is capable of wearing that letter and helping this team move forward. And I don't know who that is going to be. I don't know who it's going to be, but we're going to watch, and it's going to evolve, and it's going to fall on your lap, and it's going to be a no-brainer.
I got to tell you this story about Luke, Alex's brother, when he was living with me. So this was, I don't know how early into the year, whatever it was, but they were leaving on a Friday morning early for a trip. Okay. and I think he had to leave. I had to miss school, and he had to leave at probably leave the house at 9:00. His bag, his hockey bag, all his laundry was washed on his own. He did it. His bag was packed. His sticks were taped together. They were sticks and hockey bag were at the door the night before. His travel bag for his clothes was packed and outside his door before he went to bed. Right? And I remember like him bringing the bag out and he's putting it outside his bedroom door, and I'm heading up to my room. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm packed. I'm ready to go. So all I got to do is wake up, shower, get dressed, grab my bag, and go downstairs, grab something to eat. And I just thought, and we had 2 kids living with us, and another kid living there. Such a talented defenseman I had, but the other kid just approached the game differently. It doesn't make him a bad person at all. He's a wonderful kid. And I love the kid. He's my own son. He was with me for 2 years, but he just approached the game differently. He would wake up the next morning and be rushing around the house trying to find what he needed and, what's clean for him to take and where's this and he eventually was ready, but not as organized and prepared and as focused as Luke was. And that's just, and that's just how they are. That's how they prepare. Luke learned that somewhere, because I didn't do that either. And I said this to Luke. I said to Luke that day, I said, you know what? Hockey wise, I can't teach you anything because you're 15 and you're better than I ever was at 15. I said, preparation wise, I can't teach you anything because you're way more matured than I was when I was a pro. You know what I mean? And that speaks to the subject that we're having today with Alex Tuch and the Tuch family. So I don't know. I've always kind of held on. I told Luke that story once. I told him, I said, you want to know something? Here's what I remember about you living with me. And he was like, and he said, thank you for saying that. That means a lot. And that's the stuff that sticks out to me as I look back and I think, man, I didn't do that. Sorry for wasting the air with that. I don't think.
No,
listen. Example
as a father, with 2 boys kind of navigating through the same thing. It's interesting. And I think those are lessons that you teach your kids. I'm always about packing bags before, making sure your sticks are at the back door ready. So that is out of the way. You don't have to worry about it. Don't do it in the morning and rush around and be chaotic. You want to do things at the right time. And you know what? Guess what? My kids don't listen. They don't listen at all.
I didn't listen either.
But let me tell you something. There's times where I raise an eyebrow and say, they are listening. They are listening. I have to tell them 10,000 times, but they're starting to get it, especially the older one. The older one is really starting to get it. The younger one is literally floating on a cloud in another stratosphere because he doesn't listen to anything right now, but that's the age. The older one, he's starting to get it. He's starting to get things. And all those things that I told him over the years and how to prepare and do things the right way, I'm starting to see them now. I'm starting to see them because he's more mature and he understands it and this and that. So it's a process. It's parenting skills. And I think that, the Tuchs have done wonderful things with those 2 boys. Listen, I mean, Buffalo fans,
it's not parenting it's the lead the horse to water but can't make you drink. My parents taught me, this is why I related to Luke, because he was 15 years old living with me and I was 15 years old when I left home. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I never at 15 would have done that. Now my parents would have called me the night before and said, are you ready to go for the weekend? Are you bag, you're packed, laundry done, right? But I'd be like, I'll do it tomorrow. This was done. And that's why I just think it's a different train of thought. If I were at my parents' house, my mom would have been like, let's go get it. The night we get off the phone, do this, but he was disciplined enough to do it. So I don't know. That's where I just looked at that and I was like, man, I was nowhere near where some of these kids are now with how prepared they are and how almost professional they are. It's kind of irritating, to be honest with you. It is. the training and the warm-ups and the diets and the shakes and oh my God, these kids they're teenagers, Riv, and they're acting like they are almost like young professionals. You see it all the time. You see it all the time in the minor hockey circle, but that's a conversation for another day. But anyway, that's enough of that.
Great interview with Alex Tuch, and I'm going to tell you right now, the Buffalo fan base is going to be very happy with this guy.
That's a wrap on another episode of After the Whistle. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, After the Whistle, and at Craig Rivet 52, at the Instigator 76. And you can find us, as you already know, on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, and anywhere else where you can get your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to spread the word.